Hello, hello. I just want to dive right in. I don't ever do Instagram lives because I'm afraid of what's going to come out of my mouth. But thankfully, I'm not in the hot seat today. I have Brian Richards. He's the founder of Sauna Space, and he is going to be joining in just a minute. Yep, he just requested. I'll add him. I know that red light therapy feels like a very new, even sauna, infrared sauna, that all feels very new, but it's really not that new. Hi,
Hi,
Brian.
Courtney. How are you?
I'm so good. Look what I have here next to me.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, me too.
I'm so excited to chat with you today because, earlier this week I asked my community a bunch of questions about mostly red light therapy, some infrared sauna stuff.
Yeah.
But everyone, the general consensus was like, this just feels so new. But I know it's not new. So
Yeah.
my question for you is really like, when did you start Sauna Space?
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on here, first of all. My team really is a big fan of you, actually. Going back a while, some of the people here are aware of some of your work and in various areas. And actually, last year, for about 9 months or so, or most of the year, I was living, I think, near where your practice is, because you're in Frisco, right?
Okay, I actually listened to a podcast that you were on. I don't even know when. I was just kind of like, oh, what are things he's said on the internet about red light therapy in the past? So I was tuning in, and you were talking about being in Frisco, and I was like, what?
Yeah, we had a transition year where I decided to stay temporarily at an apartment, and it was like right next to the stadium off of Main.
Yeah.
So I think that was down. I didn't know you had a practice there then, and it's so cool, so aligned to see that you actually have already been using the product for a while. And yeah, I was in Frisco there for quite a while, and really loved it. It's great. It's a great community there.
That
Really,
is crazy.
yeah, it's really booming, actually. It was a cool place, great people.
It's a
There was a great yoga studio there, this yoga studio called Ignite
okay.
Yoga. And there was Karma Fitness
Yep.
that was downtown too, Jenny.
Yeah, right
Yeah, it was
on Main
great
Street.
people there, great community. I really love Frisco.
That's awesome. Yeah, my business is just on Second Street, so I'm just right off Main.
Yeah, 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 cool. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I was in
Well,
your
yeah.
neighborhood. So yeah, anyway, it's so nice to see you here.
Yes. Tell me more about when you started Sauna Space.
Yeah, so Sauna Space started like 12 years ago, where I am now. So I'm talking to you from my house in Columbia, Missouri. The factory's based here, and our store and our warehouse are here. This is where Sauna Space was born, um, and it comes from my own personal journey to correct my own health issues.
Mm.
I was at the end of my college career. I moved to Columbia, Missouri, in terms from a professional perspective, I wanted to build a real estate empire. So I got into rental real estate because I love to build things and make things beautiful, not thinking at all about the sort of the human component of that, of being a landlord, which I ended up realizing I absolutely don't have the emotional constitution for that. I'm just a nice
Mm-hmm.
person. I like to make people feel happy and be well. So it was absolutely, energetically not where I belong. But anyway, I was doing that. Had some adrenal fatigue related health problems. So
Mm.
had insomnia and mind racing and acne around my kidneys, so on my back, and generally kind of low energy, lethargic, kind of irascible. And it was kind of this nebulous grouping of symptoms that didn't make sense. I know now I was just toxic. I just had adrenal fatigue. I was worn out. I was burning the candle at both ends, eating pretty well, but staying up late, not sleeping enough, drinking, alcohol recreationally. And it was kind of creeping up to me, and it was bothersome to me because, if you met me in the street, you'd be like, well, what's your problem, bro? You look fine. But I
Yeah.
didn't feel fine inside. And I wasn't the sort of self I wanted to be in terms of like mood and attitude and energy levels. And I got recommended at one point to take like Accutane, and that for me was emblematic of, whoa, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I don't want to take any drugs. There's got to be something that's going on here, root cause. And my mother is a general practitioner physician, actually based here in Missouri. I grew up with my mom being uh, sort of an integrative medical doctor. My father is a now retired radiologist, but I saw both sides of how we approach healthcare nowadays. The allopathic approach, diagnose and treat, a lot of very expensive, I would say very questionable outcomes for chronic illness.
Yeah.
And my mom, who was prescribing vitamin therapy, in the 80s in Montana, and she was having incredible results and doing things more or less, a very integrative, natural, functional approach. So she recommended I use sauna. She's like, maybe you need to just detox, Brian, and use a sauna. I said, wow, that's so brilliantly simple. And so, but that inspired me to research online. What are the benefits of sauna? And we can talk about that. They're tremendous. It reduces your risk of all-cause mortality. So the risk of dying of all things not trauma-related, and so on and so forth. It has so many benefits and risk reduction of so many diseases and dementia and the rest. It was at the end of my research that I found the concept that I built, and it's called the electric light bath. So in contrast to all these other sauna technologies and actually, red light therapy technologies that are out there, we're using the incandescent bulb. We're using light, the light of nature, all the light that we ever, that God has created, the sun, and what we created later to mimic our relationship with the sun as fire. It's all incandescence. And it's a particular type of light that we love. And so anyway, I find this guy's research, Dr. Kellogg, where in 1891, just after incandescent light bulbs were kind of invented in their modern form, he said there's something special about these bulbs. They seem to heat the body up more effectively than a Turkish bath. And there's something else special with the light. It seems to be a better way to do sauna. And he invented what he called the electric light bath, the incandescent electric light bath. And he used it at his clinic in Battle Creek, Michigan, and over 200,000 log sauna sessions, 50,000 patients, all chronic, all invalids, they called them, people with chronic illness. And he documented all of this in a book called Light Therapeutics. It was published in 1910. And then the concept is lost in time. So I read his book. I discovered this concept. I basically built my own because I like to build things. I was like, cool, it's light bulbs. I can build my own. And I used it and I slept well. So I used it right before bed. Boom, I slept amazing. And probably like 1 or 2 sessions, I don't have any more insomnia problems anymore. So that really intrigued me. And I was like, huh. So I continued to use it for 6 months. And that's when I realized not only did all my problems go away, my skin looked great, my energy levels had improved. I also noticed that I had brain fog that I didn't notice I had brain fog. It was part of it. It was only when the car got really clean, then you can see when you splash a little mud on it, you can see, wow. So I became more aware of how holistically the sauna experience improved my overall being, my overall wellness beyond just these physical symptoms I was having. My mood is better. My patience levels, even with my mom, everything like totally shifted for me. Excuse me. And I looked around and I was like, why can't you buy an electric light bath? What if for someone who's not like me, who can't like build stuff easily or doesn't have the time to do so? So that started this singular obsession 11 years ago to build the world's most perfect sauna. And then flowing out of that, eventually we came out with our light therapy lamps like the one you have. And a couple of, I got a business loan and a couple business loans and almost went bankrupt a few times, but we're now kind of a force of nature, if you know about us. And we have a beautiful factory that's super beautiful and clean. You'd love it. And we have a store now and a warehouse. That's where we fulfill everything from. And so we design, lovingly handcraft and fulfill, and we provide in-house, product support and service for the lifetime of the product. And we're offering we're offering like an A to Z customer product experience that is really what I would have wanted myself in the beginning. Like really well taken care of. Make sure we make sure that everyone understands what we do. We're really transparent with our process and our quality, and the benefits really speak for themselves. You can read them in our customer reviews. It's all about just understanding, hey, sauna is amazing as a lifestyle practice to basically increase your health span. And we know also light therapy is become very mainstream and normalized as an effective tool for so many things. It's part of our natural context and our natural experience, particularly near infrared light. And so, like, these two things are really powerful. They're non-specifically promoting healing and reoptimization and repair in all the cells of the body. So how can we do the two together in the most efficient way possible and sort of have, a lot of their design principles in mind, like EMF shielding and the grounding mat and the stuff like that, that I slowly incorporate over the years and trying to make it more and more awesome.
Let's talk about that. I mean, like, so often, I mean, the wooden saunas are so aesthetically pleasing, but there's also, like, I'm sure there's issues with mold. I'm sure there's issues with EMF, some of those things. So let's talk about some of the different things that your sauna offers, not only the combination of like being able to heat your body up and having the red light, but even like how transportable it is. Like there's so many different, and the Faraday cloth that you guys use. I would love to just hear more
Yeah,
about how that all can.
yeah. Well, it was. I'm all about making the sauna as accessible as possible. And the first and foremost is the technology. So we use incandescent light, which is our bulb is designed. It's a specially designed bulb that emits mostly near infrared. So we have a near infrared focused therapy. It's delivering a more soothing heat that's more effectively deeply penetrating, and it allows the air temperature to be lower, and yet you get the sweat response that you want from the sauna
Mm.
faster. So this means that people who have heat intolerance issues, people with like autoimmune or things like that, or just are in some way are limited, they have access to sauna where they can't handle a 180-degree Finnish sauna. But also in our sauna, the process is a lot faster. You don't have to preheat it. A regular sauna that's a Finnish sauna or a regular far infrared sauna, you have to preheat it half an hour, and they're all recommending you stay in there for an hour. They're recommending you stay in for an hour because that's how long it takes in those saunas to sweat out a pound of water and raise core temperature 3 degrees. That's when we see in the literature the sauna benefits. Like with
Mm.
with 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 the sauna space approach and the light technology we use, there's no preheating, and you achieve those results of sweating and core temperature elevation in like 20 or 30 minutes. So ultimately, it's faster, and the air temperature being lower makes it more gentle, more soothing, more groovy, more enjoyable, less like stressful and claustrophobic. That's like number one. But there's, as you allude to, there's like we have a different design approach in terms of the experience in the enclosure. So yeah, the cabinet saunas are beautiful and elegant, but they're also like 500 pounds, and you need a crew to set them up. Some of them require special electrical installation, others don't. But it's a big, uh, imposing thing that you have to put in your home. With our product, even if you're older or more physically limited, you can set it up on your own. It sets up like a little kid's toy, and when it's set up, though, it's beautiful and elegant. It looks like, it's like this healing haven, that's in your home. That
Mm.
it's all organic materials. It's lightweight, but it's very sturdy. Even the grounding mat is organic bamboo, and all the elements are designed to create not just a beautiful product you'd be proud to have in your home, but a beautiful experience that supports the goal to relax the mind, to return the person to themselves, to support and have a maximally therapeutic session, and allow them as best as possible to engage in mindfulness and breath work and meditation. So there's no track lighting, there's no glass door where you can see the stressful world outside. There's no Bluetooth or Wi-Fi and things like
Yeah.
that. We actually take the opposite approach. How can we return you to nature? So we
Mm.
have organic wood and cotton in there and bamboo, and you're closed off in this space where you're finally getting some time to yourself, to return to yourself. And we try to make it a pre-technology kind of space.
Yeah.
So there's all the panels are electrically and magnetically shielded from the guard itself that protects you from the voltage of the filament and the bulb, to the shielded wiring and the shielded power cord, to the grounding mat itself that's protecting you from the wired electricity that's kind of in the home. And then, yeah, we were like, well, what else can we do? First, we EMF shielded our panels and our products, but we wanted to say, how could we protect the user from their home's man-made EMF? Because the man-made EMF is toxic to us. It basically stresses out our nervous system and causes oxidative stress in our cells.
Yeah.
So first we developed the grounding mat, which is electrically is connected to the ground of the light panel, so it's easy to ground.
Cool.
And our products come with a little plugged outlet tester, so as long as the outlet's correctly wired and you test that, it all works great. And then we have our optional Faraday liner. So we developed, there's shielding fabrics that have been out for a while. They're basically fabrics that have silver or copper or metal woven into them, but there wasn't an organic option when we started developing this. So we actually developed our own fabric.
What?
Yeah. This took like 2 years to do, but I wanted to be certified organic and be washable. So that's like a lot of testing to do that, but we came out with what we have now. So it's 35% silver, it's organic cotton, it's beautiful, it smells beautiful, and it is a optional liner upgrade to the whole sauna. And that also grounds to the grounding mat, which is all grounded. So it creates what's called a grounded Faraday cage. And that's blocking all of this man-made EMF in the air, cell phone and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth from coming in. So when you go in there, for many people, especially people who live in cities, it's like the only time your body is ever in a clean, free from man-made EMF environment that we're totally biologically programmed to have. But it's not empty in there. What is in there is this beautiful firelight spectrum that really feels like, if you close your eyes, you're like in the sun, or if you're next to the bonfire, it's delivering the light and heat therapy as I described. But there's very much you have the product, you feel the light. There's definitely a spiritual, like, existential experience associated with firelight, being next to the fire. It's not just heating you, it's nourishing your cells, it's reminding you to just be and to step back. It's a reminder of this experience that we've had in nature for hundreds of thousands of years, really. And it's our experience with the sun. We're beings of light. We're divinely designed to heal with light, not just to use it for energy, but also to, like, continually keep ourselves healthy. And so we're informed by all of that, and we're trying to recreate that ancestral experience as much as possible.
Yeah.
So it's not just like, okay, you got to get in and do your therapy to get better. It's no, I want to go in there. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It makes sauna fun. It makes light therapy fun.
I love that. I love the heart behind it. I think, and I love your story too. I love when we have opportunities to just hear the heart behind why these things come to market, especially when it's brought from a place of, like, your own healing and just wanting to have that sacred, protected space for other people. I first heard of sauna space really because I was getting my home tested for EMFs with Brian Hoyer of Shielded Healing.
Oh, wonderful.
And he had the light with him and let me, like, try it while he was testing my house. And I was like, this is amazing. And then, of course, he tested the EMFs and he was like, there's 0 on it. And I bought one immediately after. I was like, that is the coolest thing. And that was about 5 years ago. So it's been a while that I've been, like, using and loving your product. I think that it's so awesome. But also now there's, like, more red light therapy products that have come to market. Like, back then, I literally didn't hear of anyone else but you guys. What are things, like, if you're going to invest in red light therapy, what are things that we want to look for? And also, what are things that we want to avoid?
Yeah, so that's a complicated question. but let's unpack it. Red light therapy and near-infrared light therapy are the same. The definition of them is the use of red and near-infrared light to heal damaged and degenerate cells and to optimize function of healthy cells. So the things that are broken, they're fixing, and the things that are working well, they're actually optimizing those cells and making them work better. Since we have mitochondria in every cell of the body, except red blood cells, every cell of the body, every organ and tissue type stands to benefit from this light. And the ancestral context for this is the sun. So the sun is like 11% red, but it's over 40% near infrared. And that's just spectrally. If you measure how many photons per second you absorb from the sun, because near infrared light penetrates much deeper than red and any other wavelength actually, over 70% of the wattage you absorb from the sun is near infrared. So our lion's share of our experience with the sun is near infrared. And some of it's heating us, the water absorbed near infrared, that's 1,000 to 1,500 nanometers. And then some of it from 700 to 1,000 nanometers is stimulating the mitochondria. So with this near infrared light that goes in the deepest, we're getting the light therapy benefits and radiant heating to the body. So with man-made red light therapy technology, we're trying to recreate that. So the first thing to keep in mind is that red light therapy, near-infrared light therapy, is hormetic stress therapy. There's a certain maximum benefit we get over time with a certain dose. If we get too much, we get declining benefits and maybe even what's called a biphasic response. So too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And in the beginning too, you want to have enough though of the dose to get a stimulation, to get a benefit, to get a response. So we look at the ancestral context and we say, well, what is the sun giving us? So this is really cool. I've actually calculated this. You can look this up on Dr. Michael Hanlon's work, Friend or Foe. When you stand out in the sun in a cloudless day on the equator, you're getting between like 20 and 70 milliwatts per centimeter squared. So then if you look at the literature over thousands and thousands of light therapy studies, what we see is, and Dr. Hamlin breaks this down, like, is red light, is near infrared light, is it our friend or is it a foe? Yeah. What you see in the literature is if you exceed 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared, you get into doses that are too powerful or too high. If you stand in front of that power level for too long. And if you're below like 10 milliwatts per centimeter squared, the response is reduced. It's not insignificant, because even standing in front of a fireplace, which is a very low Kelvin light source, you're still getting some stimulation. You still get benefit from even like 1 milliwatt per centimeter squared. So basically, when we use man-made red light therapy, whether it's Sauna Space's portable therapy light that you have, or we use a red light therapy, an LED-based panel, we want to be about between 10 and 100 milliwatts per centimeter squared, and then we want to dose that accordingly to get like a joule dose that's equivalent to being in the sun for an hour or something like that, which I can't recall exactly what that is. You can calculate that. But so with a LED light therapy panel, which may be a higher milliwatts per centimeter squared power, when you use it 1 or 2 centimeters away from your body part, you use it for a really limited time. You maybe use it for like 8 minutes and then you're done. It's a very clinical application. With what we do with our incandescent bulb is we do a little bit lower power level, but the power level is delivered at a much farther distance as well, and we can use it for longer. So what we're getting at the end is an equivalent dose, more or less, as long as we're respecting those boundaries of not doing too much, basically. So if we do that, they're all great. They're all great approaches, and we're all on the same side here. We're all providing a powerful, natural way to activate the body's intelligent healing, just to remind it, hey, you got everything inside that you need. We just give you a little light, that you're supposed to get naturally. Yeah. But that's like, very simply, they're all great. The big difference between what we do and what LEDs do is the nature of the light itself. So our light mimics nature's near infrared, which
Mm-hmm.
is full spectrum light. So the sun is, and you can see this on our website on sauna.space. You can see the spectrum of the sun. It's a big curve of light that's a lot of visible light and ultraviolet light, and then a lot of near infrared in this long tail that goes into the infrared. So it's all these wavelengths simultaneously, and you're getting a power distribution of red and near infrared, and also some mid infrared as well, that is very unique. That's what we call incandescent light. So it's all the wavelengths together in this full complement, right? When you have LED-based light therapy, it's not an analog full spectrum light. It's a digital light. It's a fractionated light. So it's only like one wavelength for red at 660 nanometers. That's a very high power level. So if you look at the spectrum of incandescent light, it's a nice curve shape.
Yep.
And with LED light, it's a spike at 660. And then if you have a near infrared panel, it's a spike at 830. So it's boing, boing like this. And they're if you want to really make it simple, the LED light therapy is kind of like vitamin C powder, which is great and it's effective. It works great. Incandescent light is like the orange. It's light in its natural form and the synergy of the natural form. And ultimately, it's also light and heat together. And there's some debate about this, like should we be doing photobiomodulation with sauna? And some people are putting LED light panels in their far infrared saunas, and some people are saying no, do the two things separately. When I look at things that I use for my health, I'm trying to gauge how does this compare to what we do in nature. So the sun, the light from the sun in nature is an alliance of light and heat therapy. They're always coming together. And we have systems in our body that benefit from heat. The heat shock protein response, which is detox and protein repair and reoptimization, a lot of cell reoptimization. And then the light therapy, clearly with the mitochondria, all of our cells are designed to get both of these things. And in nature, we always got them together. But nowadays, I'm not going to say it's like arrogance, but it's almost like this, the modern scientific approach is kind of like we know better. You just need vitamin C, this huge dose of this. You don't necessarily need to eat real food, right? We're so much focused on supplementation, but if your diet is really holistic and it's natural foods and you're clean with what you eat, you can really get everything you need almost from what you eat.
Yeah. I think that it really comes down to this philosophical approach between mechanism and vitalism, because mechanists look at the body and they see all the individual parts. They don't see the intelligence that controls and coordinates all functions that vitalists see. And so it's like, of course, we're going to break down and separate heat from light and don't put them together. But when you actually look at the vitalism of the nature in our bodies, the sun provides light and also provides heat. So it makes sense that we would want to put these things together. I think it's fascinating, and I love just seeing the ways that mechanists tend to break these things down. Question about the bulbs, because y'all's bulbs are very, very special. I've had mine for 5 years, and I haven't even had to replace the bulb yet. I have a backup one just in case, but I mean, it's lasted so long. But I know legally they've gotten rid of incandescent lighting. And my thought is I have enough LEDs around my house, even though I don't want to. I want all incandescent. I never really turn my lights on anyways. But does that affect you guys at all with any of the change in the regulations with incandescent?
No, it doesn't. What's happened is, yes, what the government's done is they've been kind of sneaky, and they said, no, we're not going to ban incandescents. We're just going to continually increase the efficiency standards for lighting. And when they're talking about efficiency standards, they're only talking about visible light, not the health benefits of the unseen wavelengths. So there is absolutely all this benefit that is being removed when you move to LEDs. With the incandescent ban, though, it doesn't apply to specialty bulbs.
Cool.
So that includes all classes of black lights and what we do, specialty infrared bulbs and bulbs that are used in, specialty applications like appliances and things like that. Those are all still widely available. They basically have made illegal the bulb you would use in your desk lamp and your home lighting. And so, yeah, it's we're happy with that. We're always going to be able to continue to operate because we're in a niche space, basically a therapeutic space. Those bands and stuff are for people who are using um, their regular at-home lighting. But it does create it leads to another sort of an implied question of like, well, what do we do now? We have all this LED lighting in our home. LED lighting, that's the normal home lighting, is very blue light. It's all blue light, basically. They remove the infrared component that's healthy, and there is some kind of like red and yellow in there, but if you look at a LED home light spectrum, there's a big blue spike. And that blue spike leads to us getting way more exposure to blue light than we're normally getting in nature. And unlike the sun, we're not getting that huge dose of 70% near infrared that reverses the free radical creation of blue light and ultraviolet light and the damage that those things do. So we've removed all the near infrared light from indoors, and we've increased dramatically the amount of blue. And we know, I'm sure you've talked about how, with your clients and patients, like blue light is a nervous stressor. It messes with our hormones. It messes with our circadian cycle when we get it after dark. We're supposed to get some during the day, but always in conjunction with near infrared. And so what we have indoors is really unnatural. It's really stressful. It's sort of like a silent spring, kind of like man-made EMFs are. It's this underappreciated, ubiquitous, growing problem of us being beings of light and getting this high energy toxic light all the time without any of the healing light. Mm-hmm. So what I'm getting at though is what's really cool about our product that stands in contrast to LED light therapy panels is you can use it to cancel out blue light and flickering light that you get from your screens and you get from this overhead lighting that you're stuck with, and it's all built in. Like, what do? I can't even buy incandescents anymore. Well, you can use our portable bulb, our portable lamps that we have, mm-hmm. and you can also purchase our sauna panels and use them as like a hearth in the living room. And you can measure with the spectrometer when you bring this incandescent sauna space light in, it cancels out the blue light that you can measure and the flickering light that you can measure. So we're making the indoor light environment like the outdoors. And when we do that, it's like we're optimizing this this indoor lighting and making it enjoyable, making it more human oriented, making it aligned with our innate intelligence and our innate programming.
I think that was one of the coolest things that I learned, and I actually got to learn it from one of your employees that I got to meet. And she was like, I keep my panel just right at my desk. So like while I'm working on my computer, it's right there next to me, and mm-hmm. it's canceling out the blue light that I'm getting from the screen. And I was like, oh, why have I not been doing this? Why didn't I think of that? And I actually told my parents about it, and my parents went and bought 2 panels themselves and keep them at their desks at their home, because I just think that that is incredible and a great tool, especially now that we do have more LEDs than what we would, prefer within our homes. And so to have an option to kind of bring it back to nature is really cool.
Yeah, we call it it's called like technology fatigue or screen fatigue. So we're helping you mitigate that. We're helping you manage and reverse and avoid technology fatigue, because we all have to work at the computer a lot nowadays. And you can use programs to filter the screen and make it less blue-like. You can wear blue blockers. But this is a more interesting, maybe a more effective way to do things, is to actually just cancel out the damage of the blue light and get some light therapy benefit as well. It's not necessarily needing to be pointed at you all day long. It's actually just next to you, just like a little firelight, a little campfire.
Yes, I love that. Well, last question I have for you is, what about the red light, specifically your product, and eyesight? I got reported to the board because I said that your eyes can heal and improve. Your eyesight can get better. Some red light therapy devices come with like goggles that will protect people's eyes, and they're like, don't look at it. what is your advice with using the incandescent bulbs that you guys offer? Should we be looking at it? Should we kind of look away from it? Are there benefits to either?
Yeah, that's a great question. It goes back to what we talked about before, like, is the light our friend or our foe?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about that power level. If you have an LED panel that's, 130 or 150 milliwatts per centimeter squared, and you're using it on your face for treating your face, the power level is a little bit too high, and it's unnaturally high. It's higher than what you would get in nature, and so you see most LED light therapy companies recommending eye protection. Or if you look at those big light therapy beds like the Novathor and other things like that, those huge ones,
Yep.
they're wearing eye protection in there because they're using this very high powered, like, clinical saturation of light. With our bulbs, it's more like being in front of the fireplace, or the bonfire. And we don't recommend eye protection, but we do nonetheless try to stay within that recommended
Yeah.
dose. So, like, if you're using our portable light on the head, you're using it, uh, you know, 1.5 to 3 feet away from your head, depending on what's comfortable. But you limit it to 10 minutes per hour. And if you're doing the head or the throat, like people with thyroid or issues like that, they're using it on the throat. So you limit it to 10 minutes per hour. Part of that is you don't want to overexpose in terms of light therapy, the tissue. And part of that is you don't want to overheat the head, because the head's like more delicate, I guess, than anything else in the body in those respects. But if you use the portable light on either part of the body, you can use it for like half an hour or 40 minutes per hour. And you can repeat that up to 10 times a day. In the sauna, you might be like, oh, well, what about the sauna? There's like 4 lights. And so we also don't, you can wear eye protection. We don't recommend it particularly because there is a lot of benefit to the ocular tissue. There's actually a lot of research indicating, hey, and this is human studies, if you get near infrared light exposure into the eyes in the morning, it not only prevents worsening of the eyesight, it actually improves your eyesight. And we have that with some of our customers where they're using our sauna and our photon routinely, and they don't need their reading glasses as much. And then they travel and leave for a couple weeks, go away from their routine use, and they find like all of a sudden they need their reading glasses again. So there's incredible research in the benefits to the eyes of near infrared light. You can look up Dr. Alexander Wunsch's work. We see reductions in diabetic retinopathy, and people who report reduction in the in the floaters that they have.
Yeah.
There's like this wide array of benefits. So we recommend that you don't worry about it, but that you follow the use guidelines that we say, which are really gentle. And so in the sauna, yes, you have 4 bulbs, but the bulbs are aligned with the torso, not the head. So there's less exposure directly to the head, as opposed to using the targeted light on the head. And you also rotate in the sauna. Every 5 minutes, you rotate a quarter turn. So most of the time, you're not even really facing with your eyes to the bulbs. Those of you out there, though, who are concerned about it, you can wear any type of cloth will block the light, so you don't need special protective eyewear. You can wear a sleep mask or a bandana or something. Anything that's like dark cloth will completely block the light, so there won't be any direct heating or direct photobiomodulation. But having said that, we don't contraindicate it for our customers, and most all of our customers are not doing that. And not only are we 12 years in the field with thousands and thousands of customers doing incandescent light therapy this way, our technology really has been in use in the market for 130 years.
Yeah.
Here and there in different areas. Like they were using incandescent light to heal racehorses for like 50 years. It's been an age-old practice, and they used to be in part of urochiropractic. This used to be in the chiropractic curricula. It was called single lamp therapy. So it's the light therapy approach that has the most safe use testing of over 100 years of any light therapy approach that we have. It just needs to be done with the understanding of we want to do a natural dose that makes us feel good and heals and helps activate the body's healing, and then let the body do its thing. The same thing with sauna. You don't want to overheat yourself. You want to heat yourself up 3 degrees or 4 degrees. You don't want to stay in there for 2 hours. And then you the body a chance to heal, re-optimize, and then you go in there the next day.
I
And you do
love
that. It's very, very safe for the whole body. It's safe for all ages. It's safe for, all walks of life. And we don't have from any of our customers any adverse reports of eye issues. It's really, in fact, quite the
it.
opposite. People are seeing improvement.
Oh yeah, we even have, I saw a few comments come through of people saying that this happened to me. Like my eyes, I stopped needing my reading glasses, which is so
Isn't
cool.
that incredible?
It's incredible. It's also ridiculous that I got reported to the board for saying that
Yeah.
your eyes can heal because just like you were saying, that book that you read all about light therapy back from 1910, it's the same thing. Like there's a book from 1910 that talks about this method for improving your eyesight. But really the root of it all is like we just need to be getting more time outside. It's just not super realistic with kind of the demands that our lifestyles have grown into. I did have one more question for you that I totally forgot to ask, but some people have been kind of DIYing their own red lights using like those chicken brooder heat lamps. Any thoughts on those? Are they great to do? Are they not?
Yeah, so the difference with what we do is we have a custom designed bulb that we spent several years developing. It delivers more light
Yeah,
therapy than a regular heat lamp, and it has a special build quality. It's like handmade and mouth blown and stained and beautiful.
it's
Uh,
beautiful.
so it's all about a more efficient therapy in terms of the bulb, and then the lamp fixture that we make is has a lot of design components to make it safe for human use. The
Mhm.
bulbs get very hot. You want to protect the user from touching the bulbs. A brooder lamp doesn't have what I would consider sufficient protection for a human. And then there's also EMF issues. Those are not electromagnetically shielded at all. If you're sitting, you want to be close to the lights to get the efficient heating and efficient light therapy. But when you're that close from a bulb that's not shielded, you have electric field that comes out like 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
And all that to say that it's still a viable option. And anyone that's doing anything, that's much better than doing nothing. Like that's what I did 10 years ago. But when I set out, I was like, well, how can we make this optimal? What can I do through purpose-driven design to make this experience, safe and effective and also beautiful and enjoyable so that it's not just this therapy you got to do. It's something that when you purchase from us, you have a product that you can rely on really forever, that will pretty much last you forever. So I absolutely salute the do-it-yourselfers. I'm one of them, and that's what I started with. But what we offer now really is, it's just a product of 10 years of design and the quality. It's handmade in the U.S. Our products come with like a 10-year warranty and a 100-day money-back guarantee. So
It's amazing.
we're here for people who want a quality product that they can continue to rely on for a very, very
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, I love that. And some side note that I want to add, I have two people in my circle that I know that have had house fires due to the heat lamps that they have with their animals. And so, and not just like, oh, it's a little hot. I mean, like full blown house fires. So, may not be the safest option as you're getting started, but yeah, sometimes something is better than nothing. I did see a question come through if you have another second,
Yeah, I have
and it was just basically asking about if you can, if funds are limited, could people just buy your bulbs and use them in their own devices? I know there's a lot of benefits to the setup, the EMF protection, all of that you have within the Firefly photon light setup. But is there an option for people to just buy the light bulb?
Yes, people can buy the bike bulb. We typically sell them as a replacement for the products that we have because of some of the issues you described, the safety and the reliability and so forth. But what we do is we actually have two financing options that
Cool.
you can check out if you're in the U.S. anyway. One of them is 0% financing up to 12 months, and of course it comes with a 100-day trial. So what I would recommend is that you try it with financing and see if it's right for you. Certainly everybody gets to do whatever they want. It becomes a question of what is worth my time. Am I going to spend my time trying to figure this out and do it myself, or am I going to invest in something that will empower my own healing and allow me to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah, I love it. Well, is there anything else that you want to add as we kind of wrap up here?
Uh, no, just I saw a quick question before where somebody was asking about kids, and the general rule there is just 1 minute in the sauna per year of age, and they need to be supervised. But there's a lot of flexibility there once they start to use it. You know, in the Scandinavian culture, they're bringing like their young babies in there, and young kids are using it. So as long as they're supervised, you know, I have two sons, and they both have been using it since they were a very young age. And it's all good. We all benefit from this. Kids are just a little bit smaller, so they heat up faster, so they don't need as much time in there. But under supervision, it's great for them. And yeah, the panels that we have, I should mention that our basic sauna comes with a 4 bulb panel, but we do have some people who buy an extra 3 bulb panel and put it inside and create what's called a super sauna for the sort of the biohackers out there that want a really extremely quick sauna session. That's what a lot of people are doing now. That's a new product that we started offering recently. And also, it's really interesting that, like, you can't see it right here. It's next to me, but I literally have a panel in my living room, one of the sauna panels, one of the 4 bulb panels, and it sits on one of the pedestals.
Yeah.
And it's very much a fireplace replacement. So when I get home, I don't have a real fireplace here or a stove. I have this panel that is like a hearth, and you can turn it on and have that glow and that experience of being next to the bonfire, you know, the fireplace in the living room. So we have a lot of customers now that actually buy our panels and use them outside of the sauna for the enjoyment in any room of the home.
And also, I think I saw that you can buy one of those panels if you already have one of the, other types of saunas, the wooden ones. You can buy a panel and put that within your sauna. Is that correct?
Yeah, Courtney, that's correct. If you already have a cabinet sauna, you can upgrade to our more efficient light and heat therapy technology and the EMF shielding and all that. And it just works. You just set it in your cabinet sauna and you use our panel instead of the built-in heaters. And it can preheat the space, and it can also, you use it for all of the sauna experience. And you can keep your enclosure and sort of have some cost savings there. You don't need to purchase our enclosure. And then should you ever want to have our enclosure later, that you can purchase that separately. So yeah, a ton of people already have a cabinet sauna, and it takes forever to sweat, but they like the look of the wood cabinet. They definitely buy our sauna panel. That comes in 3 and 4 bulb versions, and some people buy multiple ones. It just depends on how big your home sauna is.
Yeah. Do you still have the shower conversion kit?
Yeah, we do. So that's a unique product for people who don't have room for the regular sauna enclosure in their home. And so it's sort of a niche group of people who want that, but people who that's their only solution, they really love that. It's basically a panel and a pedestal that the panel sits on, and our sauna stool. And it comes with this big organic shower curtain that we created and 2 shower curtain rods. So you put the curtain rods in and you clip in the shower curtain, and it hangs over one rod and drops down and creates a ceiling and a front wall that boxes in your shower stall, basically.
Wow.
And so it creates a little sauna space into in your full shower, and it has some limitations. It maybe doesn't heat up quite as well. It doesn't have the grounding mat and so forth. But for some people, it's their only option. They absolutely love it, and that's all about us trying to create more and more access to sauna therapy. So yeah, it uses all of the components basically that we use in our saunas, just in this little kit that we make.
I love that. I love that there's such versatility and so many different options. There was a question of someone asking if you wouldn't mind, can you scoot your camera angle so they can see your little panel setup?
Yeah, maybe I can just take it out of this.
Sure.
I'll show you. So this is the photon. Can you see? Yeah. So this is the photon. It's one light, and it has mounting adapters on the back to mount to a desk arm, which we also sell. And it comes with this little base plate that's below it, so you can set it on, a couch or something, and use it on materials that you don't want to heat up. And actually, over here, there's my light panel that I mentioned. It's like a hearth over there, so it's sitting on one of our pedestals, and that is yeah, you can just plug and play that anywhere. That's kind of how I have my living room set up. So I get home, I flick that on, and this excuse me, this photon, I have one at my desk, I have one at my nightstand. It's pretty much in every room of the house.
That's what I feel that way with the photon. I just have one, but I'm moving it around constantly. Like right now, I've got it right here next to me on my desk. And then I usually will move it over to my nightstand over here. And it is the first light that we turn on in the morning. And it is the last light that we turn off before we go to bed. So we love it so much. We're so grateful for your product and the business that you've created. And I hope I've experienced the sauna, but I hope that's one of my goals is to get my own sauna one day from you guys. Any final words before we jump off?
Yeah, I should mention that we're having a February Firelight Fields
Ooh,
sale. I believe it starts on Saturday and runs throughout the month. So
yeah, you
it's a
should
10%
mention
off.
that.
Yeah, so it's
Nice.
a 10% off, and everybody actually can use your discount code and stack that on top. So if you want to share it with them, then
Yes.
they can get a little extra off, and that's a part of us rolling out. We're rolling out this new way to describe our product, and we call it the Firelight Spectrum. So I realized this a long time ago, but I wasn't describing it this way. It's like, well, what is this incandescent light, and how is it different from the sun, and how is it different from LEDs? It's a firelight
Yeah.
spectrum. So we're celebrating that this month, and of course, it's the month of love, of course. So that starts on Saturday and runs like the whole month. And yeah, you can definitely, if you're ready to pull the trigger, it's a great time to do so.
Awesome. Yeah, my discount code is Dr. Courtney 5. I will just put it in as I save this. I'll put it in the little caption so that you guys can see that and use that in addition to the sale.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you so much for your time today. We answered so many questions from this community. I think this will be a really valuable conversation for people to come back to.
Absolutely, Courtney. Thank you for having me. Your questions were amazing.
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad. I don't interview very often, so,
No, you should do it more. This went very well.
Awesome. Well, we'll stay in touch and yeah, just thanks again.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Courtney.
All right, bye, Brian.
Bye.
I have to figure out how to save this. So fun. I don't want to close it. So ridiculous. All 30 of you guys that are still here while I'm trying to figure this out, just don't make fun of me. This is over. I'm just trying to, I don't want to close it and not save it. I'm scared. I'm scared that I'm going to lose it.